What's up everybody, it's the Talking Panda. Welcome to another day, another video. I am back with another book recommendation video. Here it goes. Now this recommendation video is a little different because this is not a novel. It is actually a science book. Now please don't click off. I know this is some topic that people find super boring but others find super interesting, so I am actually treading the eggshells here. Please watch the video till the end. Trust me, you are going to love it, and at the end of the video I want you to make up your own mind and see if you really would want to buy it or not. Let's begin. So the star of today's video is this book right here, Quantum by Manjeet Kumar. Now as you can see that it is not a small book. It is the size of my face and it's actually pretty hefty. Now this book by Manjeet Kumar was released on 16th of October 2008. A little backstory about the author of the book. Manjeet Kumar has degrees in physics and philosophy. He was the founding editor of Prometheus, an interdisciplinary journal that covers arts and sciences, described by one reviewer as perhaps the finest magazine that I've ever read. He resides in North London with his wife and sons, and this is the second book that he wrote. And the great part about this book is that it was shortlisted for the BBC Samuel Johnson Prize for Nonfiction. Now let's talk about more of the contents of this book, what you should be expecting from reading it. Now before I begin with the contents of this book, I want to make something really clear here. I know that there's a lot of taboo amongst people. The notion goes that if you want to read something related to science, especially books of these kind, then you need to have a prior knowledge in science, right? I actually don't align with that chain of thought. This book is a perfect example against that notion, and it is a contradiction to it, and it proves that you really don't need a degree in science to be reading such books, and that if the writing is well and if the ideas are communicated in a well-written form, then anyone can understand these books. Let's talk about the book now. Quantum. The name of the book, the title of the book, is self-explanatory, and it entails the information that you need to know about the word quantum itself. Now in this book, the author Manjeet Kumar gives a dramatic and superbly written history of the fundamental scientific revolution of quantum theory and the divisive debate at its heart. Now this book is actually your one-stop solution to the quantum knowledge that is out there. How did the word quantum came into existence, how it was conceived, who were the people that actually coined the word quantum, and whatnot. For 60 years, physicists believed that quantum theory denied the existence of reality itself. Yet, Manjeet Kumar shows that how the golden age of physics ignited one of the greatest debates of the 20th century. This book sets the science in terms of the great upheavals of the modern age. In 1925, the quantum pioneers nearly all hail from upper middle-class academic families, mostly German, and their average age was 24. But it was their irrational romantic spirit, formed in reaction to the mechanized slaughter of the World War I, that inspired their will to test science at its limits. Now spanning roughly through the time between 1900s and 1960s, this book explains quantum theory in a language that makes it relatively easy for the layman to follow. You'll find in this book that the author sets weight on the essential leaps in developing this theory, and also adds some intriguing biographical and historical background on the physicists involved. You'll see that the quantum journey begins with Max Planck, who reluctantly added the word quantum to the discrete units of energy. Then later, Einstein expanded the use of quanta in terms of light. It also actually pinpoints the exact reason how the Heisenberg uncertainty principle came into existence, and the fact that the math during the derivation of this principle was so difficult that even he required help. Now when you read this book, the most interesting part about this book is the fact that it highlights the great debate between Niels Bohr, aka the Dane, and Albert Einstein. Let's shed a light on what this debate actually was. Now, given the uncertainty principle and some of the more revelations that occurred during the conception of the quantum mechanics, we concluded that we don't know where the particle is or whether it even exists until we notice it. Now, this was actually a question mark on reality. Niels Bohr proposed that entities like electrons have only probabilities. What Niels Bohr actually meant by this statement was the fact that in order for you to pinpoint a characteristic to a particle, you actually need to be willing to observe it. And this is where Einstein took exception. While Albert Einstein believed that this theory was accurately describing the atomic world, he strongly believed that objective reality does exist. Now, while Bohr claimed that there only could be probabilistic knowledge that could be assigned to a system of particles, Einstein argued that they had their independent reality, hence promoting his most famous claim that God doesn't play dice. Einstein was actually very uneasy with the whole concept of quantum when it came into reality because he believed the quantum theory doesn't give definite answers to reality. In fact, it actually puts a question mark on the existence of reality itself. Now, till the end of his life, Einstein was challenging the validity of quantum theory, and when his challenges were being consistently refuted by Niels Bohr, he accepted those but continued to assert that the theory was incomplete in itself. In this book, you will find so many thought experiments that were given by Niels Bohr, that were given by Einstein and some of the other physicists as well, related to these hypothetical questions that are being asked in order to answer the question of reality and to actually prove that if quantum theory was in alignment with reality, or was it opposing it, or was it making it more questionable. And the most famous of them all is the Schrodinger's cat experiment. Now, this book not only explains this thought experiment extremely well, but it also tells you why it came into existence. And when you read about this thought experiment in the book, your mind will actually be blown away, because the reason why he proposed it is controversial. Now, if you believe that quantum mechanics is complicated, then to quote Walter White, you're goddamn right. Now, another most important historical event in physics or in science that has been covered in this book is the 1927 Solvay Conference that happened in Brussels. Now, you probably would have seen the beautiful picture in which there is every scientist or physicist or chemist, whatever you want to call them, is present, where 29 of the most brilliant scientists on planet during that time were present to discuss the fledgling of quantum mechanics. Now, if you think quantum mechanics seems difficult to you, you're not alone. The quantum phenomenon were phenomenally baffling to many. Now, it was actually here in this conference where the disagreements between Bohr and Einstein and others, including Erwin Schrödinger and Louis de Broglie, who was an actual literal prince, broke out. Now we have come towards the part of the video where I read some of the reviews that have been written by people around the world and what their thoughts had been about this book. Let's begin. Nicholas Lizard from The Guardian says, "This is about gobsmacking science at the far end of reason. Take it easy and nice and savor the experience of her mind being blown out without recourse to hallucinations." The Independent says, "Probably the most lucid and detailed intellectual history ever written of a body of theory that makes other scientific revolutions look limp-wristed by comparison." Jean Banville of The Age says, "One of the best guides yet to the central conundrums of modern physics." Nature says, "Highly readable. A welcome addition to the popular history of 20th century physics." Andrew Crumey of Daily Telegraph has to say, "It would be a rare author who could fully address both the philosophical and historical issues, an even rarer one who could make it all palpable and entertaining to a general audience. If Kumar scores less than full marks, it is only because of the admirability, ambitious scale of this book." Ham and High has to say, "This is the biography of an idea and as such reads much like a thriller." Now, the last review of today's video is by Hindustan Times of India, and it is my favorite. Let me read it too. Manjeet Kumar writes a pulsating narrative about the history of modern science's most fundamental revolution in quantum. He brings lucidity and a sense of drama to which is usually considered by lay readers as an esoteric, bubble-chambered subject. He does this without sacrificing the science of it at the altar of readability. The triumphs and the tribulations, the politics and the physics, the humanity and the genius of the protagonists all collide to produce the sort of energy that we usually accept in a thriller. And I actually agree with that statement. This is not a conventional science book that you'd read. It actually unfolds as a novel would unfold. There are twists and turns, there are highs, there are lows, there's agreement, there is vast disagreement, and then there's what I like to call a happy ending. The characters of the book are all well-known physicists out there. Whoever you could name is present in this book, whether it's Boltzmann, whether it's Paul Dirac, there's Einstein, there's Bohr, there's Erwin Schrödinger, there's of course Heisenberg, and a lot more. We have come towards the end of the video. If you like this book, if you like the idea of this book and my recommendation, then I would highly ask you that you buy this one, get your hands on this one, and as I always say, if you can't buy it, borrow it. If you can't borrow it, why the hell can't you borrow it? I ask you to refer it to your friends, share this video as much as you can, because this is something that needs to be in every household. These kind of books actually help you to see what the past was, how things actually came into existence, and how far ahead we have to go as humankind together to solve the greater mysteries of the universe. With that, I ask for goodbye. Bye.